we'll see what they're able to do. It's all eyes on FURIA in terms of, like, you want to see the favorites win, but you also want to see something positive from the underdogs, from the up-and-comers as well. So let's see if it is as we expect it to be, or if a surprise is in store here. FURIA starting on the T side, gliding their way through mid, and there'll be a retreat from K27, who'll try to fight on the site. Can double the numbers at the very least. However, it seems to be a FURIA on tour here. They've got the sunglasses out and the suntan lotion as they make their way into CT spawn. Suggests to be, but head back to A, where Gabs is lurking on the outside. Socio and Fatal going for a trot quietly as well. This will be a curious one. Fatal takes one in the face immediately. FURIA coming in hot in that respect, finished off by Gabs, who spots the second one. It's completely out of position and exposed. Are these CTs? They are in deep water already, it looks like. Socio versus the World, and the World won.
I think it's also important to just note that this is a revitalized FURIA. Now remember that the last season finals, they didn't get to go. They got kind of gate-kept by Fluxo, who are the ones that went to represent South America. And there were some big question marks leading up to that. Which one of these two teams was going to be the one that represented? Now this season, obviously, we had two teams to come through, so both of them are here. But it's FURIA who got their revenge, who did incredibly well in the regular season and have kind of restaked their claim, I suppose, as the queens of South America. And they're looking to hold on to that as far as humanly possible. So this is a FURIA that is looking much better than they have in quite some time.
Anti-ego, anti-ego, anti-eco, stratego. There we go. A fast eco round is a good eco round. Full bias coming through then for K27 as it's an expected start for FURIA. But now the real game begins, and we'll see what K27 are made of. I think, as you heard in the interview with the stage of their team so far, I think during their journey of this tournament here in Stockholm, I feel like depth is going to be difficult for K27. And with a team like FURIA against you, that's where they're going to test you and exploit you if you allow them to.
I also have to remember that there's quite a bit of experience on the K27 roster, if not as this 5 stack, but just in the past, historically, players like Fatal, Elizabeth, been playing for quite some time. So we really look to them to be the guiding forces.
Artillery all over this bomb site, and in FURIA go, isolating the fights with that util. Socio holding position for now. Not much else that she can do with what's been afforded to them by FURIA. Zina looking to cut off that rotation. Also, seems K27 will abandon. And this is a hard decision to make, to just get away from this bomb site. But I think their chances are so slim to get into positions to mount a solid retake there that I think this is the right decision. And I think some people will take longer to get here, lose some more bodies, lose some more rifles. Not the case here for K27. So I think that's a nice decision they made.
Yeah, I mean, Anubis A is very kind of Dust 2B-esque. It can be very difficult to retake, especially when you don't have any sort of a footing. The entirety of that site had been overrun to try and make your way back into it with such limited utility as well. It wasn't going to happen. So they make the right call. Yes, they do lose another round, but it means the reinvest in this round is somewhat minimal. So they're still going to have some firepower into it. But we're seeing from FURIA what we kind of talked about with Fluxo, South American teams, aggression, firepower. That really is where they shine and where they get the brunt of their value. And it's just been heavy hit after heavy hit so far.
Not sure if it's a tech pause or a tech pause, but I do wonder. Okay, it's a tech pause because I was thinking, you know, there isn't really much information yet in terms of discussing, okay, what we've seen, etc. Just heading towards the full buys now, so that will come later. But yeah, it was quite revealing, the interviews with FURIA, especially quietly confident, I think, as a team, which is what you want as well. Always fun to watch. You know, their roster has changed over time, but that ethos remains. Car being the star of the show, of course. We are live from DreamHack in Stockholm. Of all the DreamHacks I've been to, I think this is the nicest in terms of the layout of the expo overall. It's really nice. You can see from one end all the way down to the other, and it's like, it's really cool. It's nice. I think it's nice that it's in Stockholm now, as a giant hub and being accessible to people. When I was flying over here, I was approached by a guy who was coming over from North Carolina in America with 20 teenagers who hadn't been to DreamHack before. So that's pretty awesome. Definitely something to get over to if you can. If you can land, then do that. BYOC is always fun at DreamHack. I just enjoyed walking around and seeing all the crazy setups over the years when I was here doing Street Fighter and other things. But yeah, the impact stage is bang in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Can't miss it.
Love the vibe out here as well. You know, we had quite a bit of support earlier. We had some FlyQuest support. We had some, of course, NIP support. That makes sense. So hopefully we'll have a little bit of support here for these two teams as well. But it's been nice to see people coming from all over, right? Poppins' mom coming up from South America as well. And clearly, I know we've got some, you mentioned some North Americans. We've got an Australian on the desk.
That desk is crazy. Can we just take a moment?
Yeah, no, that's outrageous.
Those segments are getting wilder and wilder every time.
They're having fun, bless them. But it's nice to be here. It's nice to be out here in Stockholm. And I think this is the second time that we, as the casters, get to be on site with the teams and to really get involved. And I think that's great because we get to feed off of each other's energy quite a bit. Yeah. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
ESL Impact growing strength to strength.
Yeah, we're just behind the stage, and it gets to bump into lots of players as well, old friends and new.
Yeah.
Have nice chats with people. I've been just walking on a stage and taking pictures as well. Anyway, the game resumes. 3-0 FURIA. The buy is here. A buy is here for K27. I wouldn't say it's the buy with the FAMAS out, no one's favorite weapon. And the silent M4s as well. Do they feel the need to take the fight to FURIA, I wonder? Like, what are the keys to victory for K27 in terms of taking the game away from their opponent on the CT side? They are making plays through A at present, but that has led to the loss of Kitsuna, so not going so well. Trade frags are here for FURIA. Fatal finding herself on an island now, as we still have gaps lurking as the A-bomb site is targeted again by FURIA, successfully.
Different avenue, same result. Oh, same result over and over. Iza already having a cracker of a game, and we're only 3 rounds in.
Yeah, I feel like there was maybe some hesitation from these two, because I feel like they were heading towards CT spawn, but it seems they're going to give it a go. There's only so many rounds you can give up after all. They have a smoke grenade for the choke point as well if they had an opportunity to throw it. But now Elizabeth finds herself alone with 3 players coming her way, flying into her direction. Little respect being shown, and that's what you want to see from FURIA, stamping their authority on this game.
Honestly, I love that. Send one person in as the distraction to get the information, and she will lose her life, but the AG comes through, clears the smoke, attention has been fully pulled away from where the rest of the Ts are, and it's just clean up at that point. Another great round from FURIA, and it takes them a moment to actually hit the accelerator, but once they do, it's no less explosive than what we'd seen on those previous rounds. When these ladies have a goal in mind, they run straight towards it with no hesitation. And the space that they're creating is giving them ridiculous opportunities. And the read from them, I say a read, I suppose it's just a case of not doing the same thing over and over, but they hit A a couple of times and they said, okay, we're going to hit A again, but we're going to do it from mid. So there's this like aggressive hold from K27 in towards A main, and there's very little defense towards mid, and FURIA just overrun.
All right, now the real buy is here for K27. They've got the AWP, 4 M4s. Good level of util. FURIA may realize they need to pay a bit more respect here.
Ooh.
Zena having a look. I think she saw at least 2 people. She might have seen all 3 on the death cam there. But not many people are in a position to respond. However, Gaps is, and they will try to make inroads into the A-bomb side again, but the rotation will be quick. There are a lot of CTs here, and they might just be ready to do a lot of damage. A 2v3 for FURIA. That leaves a lot of area for K27 to defend. But surely what remains of FURIA have to move together. Heading towards Kitsuna now, who again has the AWP, which will be a surprise. No shots fired just yet. Patiently waiting.
Ooh!
Okay, that was nasty. 2-on-2 now. Wien's pretty close. That is German for Vienna. And Elizabeth as well. Split up for the time being. More than 2 choke points to keep an eye on, but that smoke grenade will give half the information away. Poking and prodding now as they combine to finish off Lulitens, and Carl's on the wrong side of the smoke, but can she find an angle? Going for some jump peeks. Oh, that was such a close one. Oh, that's perfect! Collects both of them at the same time. That's a big basket. Style points to finish off the round. Just when you thought it was safe to defuse the bomb, Car announces her presence.
Well, you know, multi-kill. They win 100% of the rounds that she gets a multi-kill in. Beautifully done there. You know what? She got an uncharacteristic miss while on the site before she evacuates. So, you know, she felt like she needed to make up for that. One bullet missed, so the second bullet has to get 2. It works out quite nicely there. And I love that FURIA were able to, again, stabilize so nicely. You know, things get a little bit crazy over towards the A site. K27 are like, oh man, they keep getting success here. We can't allow that. And as soon as things start to go awry, they just yeet out to the other side of the map.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What needs to be said about that? That was sublime. Force them into the light and then extinguish them. Good attention to detail. Example of why it's so difficult to fight FURIA. A rare Mag 7. I don't have a Mag 7 equipped at the moment. I still resent the fact that it needs to be equipped to the menu, but anyway. Give me the wheel back. Give me the wheel back, give me overpass back, and give me train.
Oh, yes. I'm so excited for train. FURIA are about to hit 6. I feel like this first quarter of the map has just gone in the blink of an eye. And
yeah, it's been strong. We've seen strong rounds from FURIA, which K27 have struggled to contest.
yeah. I mean, you can tra-la-la T-sided map all you like, but you need to get a couple of rounds on that CT side if you want any sort of a possibility of making the comeback in the next. I mean, that's true regardless of whether or not it's a T or CT-sided map. You have to get rounds on both halves. It's how you win games. Fun fact. But now I see Kitsuna has the AWP again, and I was looking forward to the Kitsuna versus Khan. It didn't happen because Luliten stole the kill, so I'm hoping that we get to see that happen here, because Mac was talking about the AWP battle, but he failed to mention that the other AWPer, maybe because it was obvious, it's Carl.
Yeah, AWP battles on paper sound exciting, but often are a measure of the damage you can do versus the rest of the team rather than the other AWPer. Swing and a miss from Khan. Sosia has got some good position. Oh, she's not quite done just yet. Looking to punch the reload, maybe. Didn't quite get there. Didn't pick up any of those rifles. And now, oh, this has become awkward. To put it mildly, there's about a minute on the clock for FURIA. They don't have no urgency to plant the bomb. They have to expect the CTs are going to be here somewhere, whether they're showing or not. So much util to deploy as well. Oh, she just went a little bit too far to one direction. There was a smoke up for cover up above. And that might allow K27 a chance to win this round. Wien doing the best she can, but Isa denies headshot after headshot. FURIA show their strength again.
Yeah, Isa has been a powerhouse. I mentioned it back on round 4, and it has shown no sign of slowing down. Luliten's has actually won the battle against Kitsune twice already, so she's been such a good pickup for this team, just in general. Now, I know that right this minute, she hasn't been, you know, blowing out of the water, but for those that watch the regular season, you'll be familiar with Luliten's and the impact that she actually does bring to this roster as the newest player. She's kind of a big proponent in why FURIA are looking so good and so much more on their original form, like we had seen in previous seasons. It's great to see them doing so well here. And that round was great overall for K27. Obviously they didn't win it, but it was one where they showed some serious signs of life. So I'm hoping that as we go on, we might see a little bit more of those opportunities and maybe see them actually come to fruition.
Jumble sail by for K27. Thrift store for the North Americans. Nothing doing on Anubis so far. With some of the matches we saw earlier here, like if we take our opening match, for example, this worked out quite well for FURIA versus some of the other opponents they may have ended up against.
Yeah.
Dodged a few bullets. Definitely some explosive matches that we'll see later on.
Speaking of explosive.
Scrambling to do what they can. K27. They've made it a 2-on-2 actually. And now Elizabeth can try and run distraction for Sosia to find some kind of position if she can. You can see her creeping behind the smoke. She needs to make her way through it. Oh, just can't quite connect. But again, even if she managed to do something there, it still wouldn't bode well for like the rest of the half in terms of the likelihood of winning rounds and so on. So there would be no promise in it.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like, it would have been a phenomenal hero play, but hero plays don't generally win games. You need a lot more than that. It can win you rounds, but overall, it's not going to be the difference maker, the big factor.
It's not going to move the needle.
Exactly. It's devastating, I think, because these rounds are so close, so many of them, but K27 just unable to clinch them.
We're going to see an aggro play through B. I think we are. Yeah, CTs are going poking, and no one's close enough to hear that. Although, Xena is watching it from afar. And Elizabeth may run into her soon. Beautiful angle. And with a minute on the clock, they could choose to re-establish presence in that direction. And maybe Xena's the one to do that. Because Fatal is still outside the B bomb site, which is allowing them to stack, basically. But again, it seems they may wait for her to do that, or maybe just rotate. Oh, she has to know now. Just completely outsmarted. Like, so again, for the experienced team, if you know that the CTs have taken an area that you should normally be in control of, you need to re-establish presence there, so you have the threat of going there, so you don't run into a stack on the other bomb site. Or you just go straight into that bomb site, which is what they've ended up doing. The fluidity for FURIA to change their plan to the one that makes sense. And K27 will essentially run to their doom here. Worth trying to hold on to those if you can. But again, I think when you're in a scenario like this, it's going to be tough to always make the most optimal decision when you're just getting battered. Like a Mars bar and a deep fat fryer.
I do like deep fried Mars bar. Pretty good. Kitsune, I feel like she just hasn't really had an opportunity. I've really been looking forward to seeing, you know, how she can stack up. Not necessarily against Ka in a head-to-head, but just kind of on the same server now at an international event. I wanted to see what she could do. And so far, you know, she either runs into Lulitens, who has the craziest reactions, or she just doesn't get the chance. On the retreat, she was able to get one, but obviously on the retreat doesn't make that much of a difference. She just hasn't had an opportunity to show us what she's made of. Oh, I didn't even see. She actually got a second kill at the end of that round. But again, I mean, much of a muchness, really.
So yeah, the spy could have been a little better if they had saved some weapons from that previous round, or tried to, at least. But anyway, Sosia trying to do what she can. She has some rifle support, actually, able to find a second one. And maybe there's a round to be had here for K27. 5-on-3, plenty of reinforcements on this bomb site. Sosia continues to deliver. So it's not going to be a clean sheet then for FURIA. There will be a round at least for K27.
What a weird round as well. I will say that like Sosia gets some unreal value with the MP9. There have been a few rounds where she gets these like crazy multi-kills that she just should not be getting, but she does, and it works out. So good stuff. And they kind of half gambled towards A. They also know that FURIA have had a lot of success there, so to kind of reinforce that a little bit more makes a lot of sense. But this is the first time that we've actually seen them be able to hold on to it and to actually anchor and get those kills and to stop FURIA from isolating ones and from just kind of spraying through all of them. So it's, I mean, it makes a really good change of pace, but the question becomes, is it now too little too late? There's only 2 rounds left in this half. They've only managed to pick up 1. If they can pick up the next 2, then they're still in with a little bit of a chance, especially if they can pick up that pistol. But it really is dire straits now.
In they go. Numbers game to be abused, and that's your lot, as we say in the UK.
That gave me whiplash.
Sosia and Ween, last 2. It's practice for Ka. Battle sniping practice. Does she creep through the smoke? It seems they do. 2v3 then. Trying to understand where all the other players are as the quick shots keep coming. Transfer attempt is there, but Lulitens will clean up. 10-1 for FURIA. Comfortable so far. They're in the driving seat and all the other seats of the car.
They've taken up the whole carpool lane.
Yeah, K27 are kind of like holding onto the roof hooks.
They're on like a scooter trying to like...
Yeah.
I will say I hate using the word disrespect, but come on, the way that they just ran in onto the site like that with very little...
It's a good word. It's a good word, because when you're trying to be, you know, you can try and be the dominant team on the server, but also psychologically. And if you can play in a style that says, give me a reason not to play like this,
yeah,
then that just makes things even more difficult for your opponent to play their game properly. 4-on-4 if we have exchanges through mid. Sosia again will be depended upon. Quick upgrade for her. 9 kills for Sosia, make it 10. Might be a second round in this half then for K27. Gabs waiting for Ka to make her way in. Punctured by Kitsuna, and now Ka's in the clutch. 2 more to find. Plenty of time as well. Moving to the pillar. Now in this spot, she might just be waiting to see if a CT goes past and go for a quick scope, but they have fallen back a bit. And again, with the time on the clock and her position unknown, holding position will split the CTs. Although Ween's not going too far. They have a kit. It makes sense to stay together so they can trade. It's the last round. It doesn't really matter if the bomb is planted as long as they win that round. Sound cue's been heard though. Ka's shotgun mode again.
No.
Surely not 2 once more. Oh, she was close. She was close. A much needed round though for K27 at the end of the first half.
stats in absolute shambles as Car gets a multi-frag, but is not able to win the round. A very, very important second round to come through from K27, but it's just the beginning. A pistol round here is everything to them. If they can't take this, it could be the end.
That's a great way for FURIA to start up close with those Julies and delivering the goods. This pistol round is almost over as soon as it started. Elizabeth is still alive, however, without the bomb, and many people to frag. She has one chance at a surprise for the time being. Oh! Okay, she got the kill. Let's just move on. 4 players remaining. Lots to do. FURIA on the cusp of 11 rounds. Oh, it's such a rough position because you know someone somewhere can hear you and they're telling everybody else where you are and they're just not showing. They're not giving you the 1v1s you're looking for. And then they all show at the same time.
Oof.
Brutal.
Definitely a painful one. It was over before it really even began. And third timeout being used here for K27 because this is what I was saying. Losing this pistol round will set them on a collision course with the lower bracket.
With a brick wall.
with FURIA. It's a really, really tough spot to be in. Especially because on top of the fact that they lost a round, there's no bomb plant, which means there's no money. So a force into the next round is necessary, but it's damn near impossible. And then it's map point.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why she missed that pistol shot, it's because she's trying to close the distance before she shoots, because maybe there's an opportunity to get an angle on somebody else as well, etc. But then the CT starts moving while she's moving, and then it becomes awkward. 9-round deficit. Tech-9s will always make a round doable, but again, you've got to close that distance. There are 2 incendiaries here for FURIA. And the Desert Eagle for Kitsuna as well. Time to go fishing then.
Kind of just waiting for FURIA to get aggressive here because they know that that's what FURIA likes to do. And FURIA are like, nah, we're not taking the bait.
A quick peek and suddenly you've got 16 HP. Triple nade and the CTs have already fallen back. They're looking so nasty, FURIA. Utterly lethal from round to round. This is the kind of form you want to see them in as well. They're relentless. They are merciless.
10 rounds of map point lie before K27, assuming they can pick up those rounds. Otherwise, that's it, right? Like this is potentially the end here. They did put a spend into that last round. It didn't pan out. You know, we love Tech-9s. We think that they can, and they do often bring results, but unfortunately now it means that into this round, far less money to work with, far less to make magic happen, and magic must happen.
Yeah, their ideal choices disappeared long ago. FURIA forcing their hand from round to round now. Some early space is taken by K27. They must find something to do with it. The FURIA machine is a hard one to put down, but somehow they've been able to collapse on this A bomb site. Kart trying to do what she can to make some inroads before that bomb is planted, and make some inroads they will. However, Lulutens is quite far away in this 1 versus 3. Is it a consideration to try and find some more frags here? Or is she better off focusing on what she's carrying? There's a fair chance of taking some more rifles away from these players, keep them spending. But she'll do it from a safe distance, or safer distance. K27 alive for now then.
Being given a moment to breathe, momentary respite. Managed to pick up some upgrades as well, so reinvest into the next round is going to be less painful than it might have been. And you can see, like, game face is still on, right? There's none of that, like, super excitement after winning a round that we so often see, because they know that every round from here has to be immaculate, it has to be impeccable. can't afford even a single misstep, because at this point, even losing guns in a round can make or break the following rounds because of how the economy works and how they need to hold on to those weapons. So for now, they do have a slight advantage over FURIA, but it is very, very slight. And as I said, cannot afford to make even a moment of a mistake.
If they can keep Car off the AWP, that would be useful. It might not be enough, but it will be something. Either way, they need to try and keep the CTs as poor as they can. But they must also not focus on a 9-round deficit. Just focus on the round in front of you. So FURIA are clearly dictating where these fights will take place with mixed results, because the numbers are here, the Ts are here, and if they keep trading, then they may be in for a good time. 2v2 though, you might favor FURIA in this position. Meantime, they got 11 HP also, but that bomb has been planted. These two CTs don't have a kit. There might be one on the site. They make their way to that site. Kazina with a very awkward angle. They've spotted each other though. Seems these Ts may both go and focus on Car. Definitely trying to run distraction to no avail. Kazina then with the FAMAS making her way in, only to be denied. So the money's broken for now for FURIA, and there's a chance for K27 to rack up some rounds.
And it's looked good so far. A slower tempo, a little bit of information starve, pushing in, using that util to deny as many sightlines as possible, getting those opening frags, and having control of the site. What concerns me is I think that all FURIA really need to do is accelerate. Take map control, encircle, lionesses in a savannah, and I think that all of these well-laid plans for K27 fall apart. Now, this isn't the round where we, well, I mean, it might be. It's a pistol round. We could see them go crazy. But I don't necessarily think it's the round where we see FURIA win it out. But I think that in a round or two, when they have money again, if they take the aggressive stance, that's where K27 could struggle. And that's something that they need to constantly be aware of. And I think that also feeds into why they play these rounds so slowly, because at any moment, they could just be charged at by a herd, a pride of Panthers.
If I had a team, we would charge like a group of capybaras.
Capybara. We had capybaras. They didn't do very well.
No, they didn't. It was sad. But you know, I pray for the future. Capybara's an impact to great names for teams that we saw this season.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Does she go for a rifle rescue? Gabs. It is being protected. Oh, the bomb's there. Ooh, there is some hot lead in the face as well. Right then, 5 rounds for K27. Again, focus on the next round in front of you, and only that one. Will we see Car, though, on an AWP? Because that would make things a lot worse. That would compound the problems that K27 are trying to fight against. But I do want to see that.
The entertainment factor. It's always an important part. And bearing in mind that K27 have no more timeouts now. So everything that they do for the next potentially 7 rounds is all on the shoulders of the IGL, of the players. They have to make the magic happen. Coach can't get involved. No AWP.
No sniper yet.
Yeah.
Gabs, I feel like it's playing a dangerous game. Oh!
Oh no!
Oh, oh dear.
All good.
Well, everybody's still standing, and oh, Ween thought better of that. Afraid of the util coming through, but Sausage chose to stand her ground. she's been left on an island. Now, if they're going to reposition elsewhere and take advantage of a perhaps over-rotation, I was going to say, will they do it in time, but Saucia's backed off. Now, she could put a smoke down to create some space for herself so she can lurk, but FURIA have the sound cues going towards this B bomb site now. And they're sending a third and a fourth woman over. Car holding angles for now. Dropped as I say that. 40 seconds on the clock, and K27 are continuing to deliver. Got a bit of a steam train going at the moment.
Are we ready to call it a comeback?
Only when it's done. Otherwise, it's a comeback attempt. It's only a comeback if the score is tied, let's say.
Okay.
Or, well, 12-10, I'd call it a comeback.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah. My standards are high.
3 more rounds, I believe. K27 can make it happen. Money's a bit of a problem again for FURIA. I think full loss streak bonus though, so still okay. Something to string together. But K27 are making miracles happen here. I didn't think they were going to come back from 10-2.
What's a good way of looking or thinking about a scenario like this is, you know, the CTs are in full buy territory from the loss bonus, but if you wipe them out, they're only buying every other round.
Yeah.
So unless something, you know, unless a disaster happens, which you shouldn't plan for, then it's kind of half the rounds that it looks like on paper, or at least that's a positive way to look at it.
All right, here's what I'm calling if I'm the IG gal. Bearing in mind, I am not a pro player, so do not take this as advice ever. But Car doesn't spend money for the next round or so. Buys an AWP, Car go kill, FURIA win. What do you think?
I think that's a reasonable strategy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something there. She spent a total of $300, so it seems they're running your strat. Kevlar, pistol, the odd piece of utility. Very affordable at this stage of a loss bonus. And again, I mentioned depth at the beginning of this game, and surviving rounds like this, which are dangerous rounds, especially if you're inexperienced versus your opponent, can be quite problematic. So it's always a good test, because rounds like this, you need to have a good success rate on. And it's looking good so far for K27. However, next round, it'll be the real buy of FURIA, the premium buy, the optimal buy.
The optimal?
The deluxe optimal. I'm gonna ignore that.
It was so good. It's only optimal if we actually get the AWP though. If not, then I'm just an idiot.
I'd be shocked if we didn't see one. Shocked, disappointed, angry.
I mean, no matter how things go, I think that K27 can walk out of this with their heads held high.
Oh yeah, it's just a learning experience for them.
100%.
You know, it's opposite ends of the spectrum, and you just take what you can from games like this, where you have little chance of winning them. Just look at what they did that was better than what you did, basically. That you can incorporate into your own game in a way that makes sense, a palatable way.
Yeah. I think it's worth reiterating that K27 is a team. I mean, this is the first time that they're playing at one of these ESL lands, so they don't have much experience against the other regions. Watching a demo, while it gives you some insight, is not going to prepare you as well as actually playing against those teams and feeling what their tempo and what their play style is like.
Yeah.
So given that, I think that they've done really well for themselves here so far in their opening match for the ESL Impact Season 6 finals. But how much further can they take this, right? Now we're going to get to find out, okay, do FURIA opt into that AWP? I think that they will. And what are K27, there it is, what do K27 do here to circumvent that and really minimize its impact?
The painful thing when the scoreline is like this from a T point of view is when the AWP appears on your opponents in your opponent's hands. Discovering where the AWP is will often cost you a player, and then your chances of survival considerably disintegrate. So that's one of the problems here, is that they don't know where Car is. Now, they could fish with some flashbangs and see if they hear of something in response. But even then, you still have to deal with the rest of the team, and they're all problems also. Especially Izza with 21 frags, putting up the big numbers. Quite a ways away from anybody else on the server. And again, FURIA are playing no part of their card. They are keeping it very simple indeed. Allow K27 to make their play and respond to it. Oh, I say that. But they are making a play, actually. And they've gone through that B bomb site and picked off Sosia lurking towards A. Now, K27 have to go really, really fast and hope that Bazina doesn't collect all of them. She'll get dropped real quick. Lulaten's in the corner now, is able to deliver more than one and collect the bomb. And you wonder if this is the end of the road for K27. Kitsuna 1 versus 3, 19 seconds. Artillery flying towards that bomb.
Oh.
But we should check for the second one though. 6 seconds to go, that's a wrap.